Hey Pearl, could you run the show till I come back on?
I was on mute all this time. I'm sorry. Well, hello everybody. This is Chocolate Pearl, your favorite girl, calling you from Duval, Jacksonville, Florida. I'm here with my best friend in the whole wide world, my sister from the same mister, Apple Snapple. What's going on, Apple?
Hey y'all, hey.
I don't know if there's DGF is occupied at this time, but he'll tune in a little later. But we can get started with this program. Um, I don't have any topics, but there was something on uh, Charlemagne the God, Donkey of the Day. He had someone on there where there was a lunch teacher, or not a lunch teacher, but the lady that ran the cafeteria during COVID, and she was in charge of the budget for the cafeteria of the schools, and she ordered over $1 million worth of chicken wings. And now she's serving 9 years in jail. She didn't think that she was going to get caught, but the crazy thing about it, they found out during the audit of what she did, and she ordered the chicken wings, um, and the kids don't, that was a time when they were feeding the children during COVID, and chicken wings was not on the menu. So what do you think about that, Apple?
Wait, $1 million worth of chicken wings? Did she have a side business or something?
I, they didn't say if she had a side business or not, but it was just crazy that she's going to jail for chicken wings.
For chicken wings. Like, come on, black people. Like, really? Chicken
Chicken
of
wings.
all things? Would she have some watermelon on the side too? Like,
I
come
don't
on with the
know. I don't
stereotypes,
know. I
fam.
don't know. But I just thought it was crazy when I heard that this morning. I'm like, why would you go to jail for chicken wings? And I guess she didn't think that they was going to catch it for the fact that they were, you know, they had a certain budget for that year. And they just started, I think this happened in 2023. And they just discovered, I guess she was just trialed and what have you, and she went to jail. But they discovered during the audit and realized that they were $33,000 over budget. So can you imagine? Because I think it was a $1.5 million, I believe, that I mean, she had to have had a store or a restaurant and figure that she can supply that through, or might have been selling it, on the side,
Or did she have
wholesale.
a Wingstop or a Buffalo Wild Wings franchise or something? Like, I just don't understand. I'm very confused. What's
I'm
going
confused
on?
too. I'm so confused too. When I heard it, I thought that was ridiculous. Why would you do something like that? And especially during the time where people, was out of work and no income, and the school system or the state decided to still try to feed these children, and you decided to take advantage of them. Bad enough the people out there was getting those PPP loans falsely. Now we find out somebody's stealing, money from the school. You stealing the money from the children.
Yeah, that's just
That money
disgusting
was
part
supposed to
about
go
it.
to feed those kids. Yeah, it was supposed to go feed those kids, and you decided to on yourself to buy over $1.5 million worth of chicken wings.
That makes no. I mean, I could. That makes no sense to me. $1 million worth of chicken. That's a lot of chicken.
That's a lot of chicken. It's a lot
That
of
is
chicken.
crazy.
It's crazy. It is so crazy. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Um, and then Dabs had showed me earlier that he went to a meeting yesterday, and in the meeting, one of the ladies, in the meeting had mentioned something about her one of her rental properties. You want to tell us about that?
Oh, well, it actually happened quite a while ago, but Yeah, she had a rental property that actually she had it just remodeled and had it up for sale. And then some guy, one of the scammers, came and put it out on the market for rental and rented to some girls down here, and they end up moving into the place. And when she sent people over to go look at it that was interested in buying it, she found out some people's in there living in it. And so she called the police, had them go over, but of course they couldn't do anything. And so it took her over a year to get these people out of her house. But because of what she went through, the law was changed that the cops can now intervene. And
So they would have had squatters' rights,
yeah,
correct?
they would have had squatters' rights, but then not really, because they had a lease which pertained to, it was a fake lease, obviously. And then they ended up tearing up her house before they ended up leaving.
They tore up the sheetrock. They stole the appliances, broke the windows, feces on the carpet. It was crazy.
Yeah, they destroyed her.
They destroyed that poor lady's house, and now she has to dish out more money. Well, I wonder if she can use insurance. Will she be able to use insurance to fix all that?
I know she got that. She's got it. I think she's got it sold now, but that was a while ago.
Yeah, but it was just on the news.
Well, yeah, they were replaying it. Yeah.
Beautiful day here in New York.
And so, yeah, I just thought that was crazy. What do you think about that?
The amount of jail time I would have had to serve.
I know that's what I know that's right. I said the same thing in my mind.
Violence, but yeah,
I said the same thing in my mind. I said I would have been on CNN. Y'all would have been writing up letters to CNN or something. Because, honey, somebody taught my play, and then the lady was on the news, but the lady was the one that was in the residence was like, "You can't come in here. You have no rights. This is where I pay rent." Not only says I was paying rent, but this is where I live and all this. So she was outraged about it.
Initially I wouldn't have blamed the tenants because they had no idea that they were in a stolen house.
Right.
They did everything the right way. So I don't agree with them destroying her home.
Exactly.
Because it wasn't her fault either. But if they were initially angry about it, like, who are you? I don't know you. You know who I'm dealing with. I can understand the initial reaction of resistance because I pay my rent every month. I signed the lease. I live here legally, as far as I know. That I get. But for them to destroy that woman's home, and it wasn't her fault either, I'm telling you, they would have had me in handcuffs. Listen.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't condone violence, but
I don't condone
I
violence.
would have put that to the side myself because that's my property. That's what my money bought. I earned that, and I own that. But I don't understand, and I wish I could find out more information. But I don't understand that. Wasn't there realtors showing the house after it was remodeled?
The thing is, people put all their trust.
They sent somebody over to look at it. That's how she found out people were in it.
Oh, okay. What was you saying, Apple?
That people put their trust in these agencies and these realtors and whatever businesses, and they just trust them blindly instead of like following up because they have the sense in their head like, okay, I paid my money for them to do this job because maybe I don't have the time to do it or maybe I don't know what I'm doing.
Or maybe you're out of the state or something. I mean,
right. So
unfortunately, she was here. The owner was here in the state, but that's stuff like that. That's the reason why a lot of people. Huh? She's a realtor herself. Oh, she's a realtor herself.
Oh well, then I don't have no more excuses for her to even have
Yeah, that lady shouldn't have been able to stay there a month. I'm gonna be honest with you, because if she was she originally after she remodeled it. I know I'm asking you a lot of questions you might not know, but after she remodeled it and then put it on the market, was there any follow-up to keep checking the property? Because I know, and I don't know if it's done here in Florida, but I know when I lived in South Carolina, there was a lot of people who walked the neighborhoods to see if there was a house vacant.
Plus, she lives around the corner. She's in the neighborhood.
So why didn't she know this when they moved in?
You know, and that's the thing I don't know either is how people. But you look when she came,
Mhm.
they didn't have a lot of furniture. They didn't have a lot of stuff.
I noticed they didn't have any furniture.
No, they
But
didn't have
how long were they living there before they discovered that? Do you know?
that. I don't know. I just know that she sent someone over to look at the house. She had it up for market. She sent someone over to look at the house, and then that's when they discovered there was people living in there.
Right.
And at first she assumed that they were squatters because they kind of were, but they said they had a lease.
And then they wasn't going anywhere because they was paying their bills. Right. And that probably would have, I probably would have said the same thing, that I look, I have a lease, here it goes, and I've been paying my rent.
But I don't think the power stuff was ever in their name. That's the thing about it.
Oh.
See, they knew.
So that was baby,
no,
that was baby and them.
Yeah, they knew. They knew what they was doing.
They probably did. And then they probably made that whole lease up themselves, you know.
Because I don't remember if she ever said she had a copy, or if she ever saw the copy of the lease.
But I thought that was crazy. What's going on in your world, Apple?
I'm babysitting our grandniece right now.
Oh, my little chocolate bunny.
And she's so cute and feisty. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm waiting for her parents to come back. And you know what? I had a topic that I did want to discuss. It's a couple of things, but did y'all hear about people in Chicago, pro-Palestine group, threatened Kamala Harris and said that if she comes to Chicago, that she's not going to leave Chicago?
No, I didn't hear that. Tell us about that.
So I don't know all the facts, but apparently that they put out a video or some kind of post that they were going to basically try to end her if she comes to Chicago. They're saying that they're like a far left group that's pro-Palestinian, which is fine, you know. And we all, you know, I don't know about all, but you know, most of us anti-genocide and pro-Palestine or whatever. But they're taking it too far, and they're saying that if she comes on her campaign trail to Chicago, that they're going to come to the rally and they're going to try to unalive her. So I thought that was wow, because in my opinion y'all against the Democrats, but y'all for the Republicans, and they don't want you in this country to begin with.
Oh wow, right.
Right. So
And so,
y'all
but
not
y'all,
protesting
yeah,
Donald. Y'all not protesting the RNC, but y'all want to protest the DNC because y'all feel like they call like Killer Kamala, and they just really reaching. So I thought that was crazy. It was crazy to me, and the fact that you're like, she's still a vice president, whether she becomes the next president or not, she still has all the protection
right.
that her position affords. So why do you think that the Secret Service, the FBI, Homeland Security is going to let you get anywhere near her to even try to like threaten her life, or anybody that's in the on the campaign with her, whether it's Tim Walz or herself, her husband, or anybody, and they're taking it a little it's a little extreme. So you're going to become a domestic terrorist because you're opposed to something that's happening in another country, and you feel like she's not handling it how you want her to. But the thing is, she's a vice president. She doesn't have the final say in anything. So whatever policies that were implemented or whatever decisions that were made, she may have, you know, some say, but ultimately it's not her decision of whatever this country does as vice president. So for them to advocate for violence towards her and she's not the head person in charge is ridiculous to me.
Right. Well,
And
why would they
they're
think?
voting against their own interests, because if they're talking about they're not going to vote for either, they're going to vote third party. But in the history of the United States, name me one time a third party candidate has won the presidency. Maybe
Oh
I'm wrong. I'm
no,
not a historian, but I
Yeah,
don't remember in recent or
never.
past history of these United States that a third party candidate has won. So these pro-Palestinians and their supporters are saying that they're going to vote third party because they don't want to vote for her and they don't want to vote for him. But not voting for her is ultimately voting for him.
Voting for him, right?
That's why he won the last time, because everybody was against Hillary. So I'm not sure if it's per se, maybe they're using it as an excuse to not vote for a woman or not vote for a woman of color, or just, I have no idea what it is. But before, they didn't want to vote for Hillary because they weren't comfortable with a woman being in the highest office,
Office, right?
so they voted, third party, and he wound up beating Hillary even though she won the popular vote. So if they do the same, we're going to have 4 more years of the clown, and that's not good for anyone in
No, it's not.
that's not in
Especially when, especially when your platform is only to be a dictator. He has not. I was listening this morning, and I don't know why, but I guess I got caught up listening to the news, and my station was stuck on it. And I was listening to where Elon, how you say Elon
Elon. Yes, Elon.
Elon Musk, um, bought Twitter,
Yeah,
and
he had it for a few years now.
I know, but I'm saying, but he was banned. The Orange Man was banned um off of Twitter. But somehow Elon Musk decided, okay, I'm gonna unban you. You can say what you want to, whenever you want to, how you want to. So now here it is. The Orange Man is saying bad things about Biden, and then throwing Kamala in that. So whatever Biden did, he's blaming it on Kamala, even though the stuff that he's saying that Biden did, he didn't do, or that's not the correct information, but he's twisting it to make it seem like both of them are not good and they're going to destroy America if they get in office. And that he, because he says, he always over exaggerates everything and he doesn't have a big vocabulary. So he was saying that there's millions of people coming into the United States due to Biden letting them in and all this other good stuff.
Yeah,
But
and he was incorrectly calling, saying that she was the border czar, um, and she was just letting everybody and their grandmother, through our southern borders, which is not true. She was never the official border czar, and he just spews lies and propaganda, and he's a fearmonger. So he says these things in order to get the far right on his side and all his maggots to follow him, and they speak and they're just regurgitating his garbage instead of like thinking, doing the research and using critical thinking, because I don't think they're capable of that. So they're regurgitating what he's spewing out of his mouth, and everybody's running with it. So all of the, that they're letting tens of millions of people through, the southern borders, and they're encouraging, they're trying to turn, young kids into transgenders. It's like a lot of garbage that they're spewing, and his base is eating it up, and they're actually, oh, okay, we got to protect our children, and from, uh, Joe and all this other garbage. I don't understand how they can't think for themselves. I
right,
try not to get political, but at this point, it's like, use your brain. This man, he's not saying anything of substance. I don't want to tell anyone. We were brought up to It's two things that you don't discuss, and that's religion and politics.
Right.
Because everybody has a right to believe what they believe and vote how they want to vote. So I try not to sway anybody. But
But when you realize, you have to realize when you see that he is spewing out a bunch of lies. I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth is 95% a lie.
right.
Um, and for you not to, that's why they had the fact checker out there, but they're not going to look at it because they're going to swear that the Democrats only put the information on there and lies.
But see, that's why when he did the interview with the black journalists, it took them so long to start, and he was blaming their equipment, but actually it was because they didn't want them to use a live fact checker. So he
Right.
refused to go on until they agreed not to use that. But his base doesn't, they don't care about that. They don't care about the truth. They
The
don't
truth.
care about,
You can't
using their
handle the
brain.
truth.
Right, exactly. They're like mindless zombies. They're just following, whatever he says. It's like Jim Jones, and everybody drank the Kool-Aid because he says to drink the Kool-Aid, and they know it's poison, but they said it's okay because he's the second coming. That's what these so-called Christians, these Christian nationalists, they believe that he's the second coming. Believe it or not,
Okay.
that in itself is blasphemous. So how can you call
Yes.
yourself a Christian? I could go on and on about this because it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. Like, how can you follow somebody that their core value system is corrupt? He doesn't care about anyone but himself. Himself. He doesn't care about the common man. He doesn't care about anybody that's not in the 1%, and he doesn't care about you if you can't do anything for him. Because look what he did to his own former vice president. He wanted his base to actually unalive his former. I mean, hang him by the neck. I mean, they really threatened to hang the former vice president because he wouldn't deny the election. You know, and these people believe that everything that comes out of his mouth is the God honest gospel truth, and we are doomed as a country if he gets reelected. It's going to be not only something similar to um the Handmaid's Tale. We're going to go back 100, 200 years and back into then not necessarily, maybe not slavery, but damn sure Jim Crow era. That's what these people are hoping happens, and it's sad. It's really sad. Well, YouTube land, Facebook, all of y'all let us know. Y'all come in the comments and let us know what y'all feel or what y'all think about this. I see that Kim Sab Allen says you can say that again. I'm sorry, I don't know what that was in reference to. I don't know because we talked about so many comments. But if you're talking about the first topic with the renters destroying the home, yeah, I agree with that. And if you're talking about this thing with the protesters at the Chicago rally, I mean, the whole thing is just ridiculous in my opinion. There's another thing, but I wanted to wait until Dr. Feelgood came back on because now they're saying that Tim Walz has stolen valor, and him and our brother being a veteran, I wanted to get his opinion or his.
I'm gonna come on right now, Apple.
Okay, you
Hold
coming on?
on. Hold
Okay,
on. Give me a couple of more minutes.
okay, all right. So yeah, chocolate. Are you still there? I think we're having some technical difficulties. She might have got booted off.
Yeah, multiple
Oh,
times.
oh, there you
There
go.
we go. Got booted off multiple times. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you did good while we were there. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Um,
you know I'm an introvert. That was really hard for me.
See, you're coming out of your shell. You're coming out of your shell. But I like how you said about this situation seems like it's going to be the Handmaid's Tale. For those who have not watched that program, y'all really need to watch that program. But you are so right about that. Even though they took it to the dictatorship of Christianity, of how they wanted to go back to the, in a sense, the Pilgrim days, as well as similar to Pilgrim, as well as what are the what are they called? Oh goodness, what are the people called? I can't think of it right now. Amish, the Amish is almost like a mixture of that, and but he wants to dictate and say who can do what and how they could do it. So if there was a crime, he could dictate who can go to jail and who doesn't go to jail, who gets kicked out of the United States and who doesn't get kicked out of the United States, who can live a certain place, or a certain amount of, excuse me, a certain amount of rules are going to be dictated by him. We don't want that. And the people that are following him don't see it in that manner. And they don't realize that they're the ones, they are the main ones that's going to be affected.
Exactly.
They're the
Hey,
Exactly.
main
I'm
ones.
back, people. I'm back. I'm sorry for the delay. I was in another meeting. I just want to. I heard Apple, and I wanted to say, about the stolen valor thing. It is totally wrong. He
Right.
would he
Well,
places retire. See, people don't understand, who's never been in the military, that it takes about a year to retire. So in order for him to retire or drop his paperwork, it was taken a year later. His commander had to sign off on it, and since he was the senior enlisted advisor for the commander knew he was going to retire, because it's not stuff like that's not just done out the blue. So and he went to Italy. He didn't. He said, "I carry weapons of war," and that's what he did. I mean, you carry a M4, a M9, whatever, a pistol, rifle. It's still a bunch of hooey that they're trying to get, and a lot of people that are commenting don't understand the military, don't understand the role of the guard and the reserve, and don't understand readiness levels. Those are the things that I have an issue with. And by the way, this is DFG. Um, it's my show, but my co-host have capably held it down for me while I was downtown and trying to stay brown. Back to you, Chocolate Pearl or Apple.
Yeah, with the I was watching Jesse Ventura, and he had a comment because he was a Navy SEAL, I believe, and he was explaining the same thing. He did an interview, and he said that, yeah, it takes about 6 months up to a year in order to retire. So even if his company got the orders, his retirement was already in the works. So it was nothing he can do. He couldn't stop it, because it was already signed off, like you said, and it was already, something that was in the works, and he had no control over that. He also said what people need to question is, why is it that the National Guard was being sent overseas anyway? Because the National Guard is just that. It's supposed to guard the nation. So why is it that they were trying to send, them overseas? Is that something that happens often? See, I don't know about it because I'm not a veteran. I've never been in the military, but I just thought that was an interesting take that he said. You know,
Well, they have what's called they have what's called, they used to go once a year, every year, to a place, to Germany. It was called Reforger. That was the most that they deployed. Before 2003, the Guard was doing traditional Guard missions with state defense, state disaster relief, and things like that. Those in, them in the Army Reserve have the same level of, they're supposed to backfill the regulars. When the regulars leave, they come in and take over the functions that the regulars do. I actually worked in Minnesota from 2000 to 2002 with the Minnesota National Guard, and I understand what they want and what they required in their readiness levels. See, people don't understand that, and you can try to explain that to folks, but those who understand will listen. Those who won't, don't. And first thing I asked, I said, "Have you served?" If they say yes, I said, "Well, what do you know about the Guard and Reserve?" "Well, I don't know anything." "Well, then you have no expertise to speak on it. I can speak on it because I've worked with the Guard and Reserve. I've worked with Army civilians. I've worked with Department of Defense. I've worked with joint agency people. So I know stuff from a high level to the low level. I can speak it and speak it well. A lot of other people can't. I mean, hell, even talking Army to Navy or Army to Marine is a language on its own, as well as Air Force and now Space Force. But the idea that people talk about stuff they don't know about, it's like all those Christians, quote unquote, are not, they don't read the Bible. All those constitutionalists and patriots never read the Constitution. So why would I think, and all those doctors, all those TV doctors and internet doctors don't know medicine? So how, what else do we expect? They're experts on things they don't know. That's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And I know Dabs knows about that because he's probably dealt with people who are dumber than they actually thought they were.
I deal with that every day of my life.
Yes, because some of these people are idiots. Just lack of a better term. I know that's not perfect to say, but
There you go. I'm back.
some people act like idiots. But definitely, I just want everybody to know that I appreciate my guest hosts because they're holding me down while even though I'm gonna tell Chocolate Pearl when she comes on, she needs to get better squirrels. Hey Pearl, you
No,
need
it's not.
better.
I don't know why I keep getting cut off. I keep getting knocked out.
I tell you, pay your damn bill.
I pays it. I pays it. Trust me. Look, I pay my internet and my phone because in order for me to work and get a paycheck, I got to have both.
I feel you. I definitely feel you. But that's kind of what was going on. That's my
I'm glad you was able to break that down because I don't I've never served. The furthest I went into serving the military was ROTC in high school.
yes, I remember. Trust me, I
Became a
remember.
sergeant in high school. That was it. Nothing else. But I'm glad you broke that down because you're right. There are people who always want to comment on stuff that they have no clue of how it's operated, but they feel that they have a say in it.
Yes.
And I'm glad you was able, to be that expert in a sense because you lived it, you done it.
Almost 40 years.
Right.
So yeah, I
And
think
then
I know
that
what I'm talking about.
yeah, and that 40 years, I'm like, look, I benefited only on behalf of you and my two boys. So
Exactly.
I don't know anything, and it does kill me if that people who would always have a comment on. I mean, you have a right to speak, freedom of speech, but speak the truth. Don't spill a bunch of lies or facts that you don't know anything about. When I don't know something, I ask you, Kendra. Now I ask Dabs. You know what I'm saying? And I have no
Yeah.
shame in my game of asking. If I don't know, I'm gonna ask. I always told,
And that's a smart way to do things. If you don't know,
yeah.
ask.
And I've always told my children, don't let anybody block your blessings. And my daughter used to get bullied because she would always raise her hands in class, and they got tired of her asking questions. And I said, no, don't ask no questions, because don't stop asking any questions. I said, because you need to be able to pass that class. Get bullied because she would always raise her hands in class. And
Yeah, but you know what though? That's what happens is that's all we got to do, and people don't, like I said, people don't know what the hell they talking about, but they afraid.
I understand.
yeah, they don't. They really don't. And but you always got to comment about it. You always got to say something. Won't you just be quiet and listen? Listen to what the truth is, instead of you always commenting, or always got to be the one who thinks they know it all, and don't know a darn thing.
But that's exactly what I was explaining to Apple, the Dunning-Kruger effect, because some people are just idiots. Some people are just idiots, and they really they want to be smarter than they think they are, and that's the biggest problem with this whole thing, is that they trying to be smarter than what they actually are.
Right. So, did you have any other topics that you would like to discuss? Because I think,
No,
um,
actually, that was, I mean, you had that, y'all had that, but oh, she's gone. But what we can talk about is um black people who want to vote for the former president, and the reasons that they give. And I find them nothing but excuses, because every time I refute their stuff with facts, data, and statistics, they look at you like that don't mean nothing. I said, well, I mean, you can say that I'm wrong, but I got stats to prove it. Y'all know I'm always about looking into stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm a big advocate for vote and get your voice out there. So I actually talked to our nephew and a couple of other, young men, young black men. And I asked them, what do they think about this election? This will be his first official election that he can vote in. And he's a registered voter. I made sure of that, me and his mom. And I asked him, I said, do you mind telling me who are you leaning towards as far as voting? So he was like, I don't know. I'm going to do some more research, this, that, and the third, but I think I'm going to go with Donald Trump. And I said,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't get excited. I didn't get, upset. I asked him, well, why do you feel like that's in your best interest to do? So all these young kids are under the assumption that because when he was in office, we got stimulus. And they have this incorrect notion that if he becomes president again, that they're going to get this magical free money. And I had to explain to him, first of all, it wasn't free money, and not everybody got it. You had to actually have been working in order to receive it. Not everybody
Yeah.
for it, and not everybody got the same amount. And you're not just we were in a pandemic, and we were in a national crisis, and that's why we received the money. That's not going to happen every time they elect a Republican as a president, or this particular Republican as a president. They think, they just think that he's just going to be giving out free money just because. The world doesn't work like that. And I really wish that as parents of these millennials and Gen Zers or whatever, that, that we really let our kids know the benefits of voting and researching the candidates and voting in your best interest, not just because you're going to get a free handout. And it really saddened me that he did think because oh, if I vote for him, I'm gonna get some money, and that's the main consensus, of young people that are misinformed, and it's just sad to think about. I don't know like how everybody else's kids are feeling about that, but I feel like especially our young Black kids, they need to be educated and um, and vote accordingly. I'm not going to tell him who to vote for, but I'm going to give him the information that's out there.
And
Google
that's
Right.
and that's kind of what you have to look for.
I think you having that discussion with him was a great idea because of the fact that we need to see where this generation is thinking. What are they thinking? At one point it was videos and gaming systems that they were only thinking about, and so they didn't care to vote. But then when their parents decided to try to educate them in the importance of voting, then they voted. But being that this is his first major election that he gets to vote in, um, it's actually amazing that he was able to discuss with you and let him know the reason of why he's leaning towards voting for um, the Orange Man. And it was just because he thought that he was going to get money out of him, but there was no other reasoning, obviously, that he wanted to vote for him. So I think we need to sit down as parents and talk to our children and even our adult children about the politics, that and talk to them in a way that they can understand. I told y'all before, I don't like watching the news because every time I get on the news, somebody done killed somebody, somebody done died. And me being a survivor of breast cancer, even though they remove the lump from my person, it still festers a little bit, still festers in your body. It just not has not come alive. And stress, cancer feeds off of stress. So I try not to watch a lot of negative stuff. But with this election and what's going on, this is my future. This is my grandchildren's future, as well as my children's future. That we make a decision, and that decision is the right decision to who can lead this country. Because if we leave this country in the hands of someone who decides that they want to tell you how you can be in your own home, how you can be in your own job, how you can live your life because what he wants you to do. That's something that I think we need to teach our children. We need to teach our children the history of what this United States has gone through throughout 100 and more years of living in dictatorship of life. And you think that because he said that, I'm glad you let me know that because this may be something what other people are thinking. So if you think that because you wanted to vote for this person because you think you're going to get some more money.
it's sad, and I do want to say by the end of the conversation, he said, "Yeah, that's why I said I'm going to do the research before I make a decision," and that's all I ask. If you're going to make a decision, make an informed decision. Weigh the pros and cons of both sides, and vote what's in your best interest.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying is that a lot of times, people have the information, but they choose not to want to believe in believe in the innovation. I mean, in the but anyway, they don't want to believe in the information that's out there. It's called cognitive dissonance, and a lot of people have it now. I'll tell you on record that I wish there was a better candidate, but I know what the other person is, and they definitely do not have they don't have the skill, ability, or temperament to actually lead this country. And you saw what happened the last time he did that.
Right, I agree, and I don't think it's so much as like before. It was the you wanted to do the lesser of two evils. And I don't think it's so much of that, because now that she's a front runner, I looked a little bit more at her politics and her career and her running mate, and I'm really happy. Not like extremely like, oh, I'm glad or whatever, but I'm really I'm leaning more towards, okay, this is the right decision for me as a single black
and
woman.
and as especially as an America as an American, you know, do
Yeah,
you want more? Do you want more rights or less rights?
exactly. So
That's the bottom
yeah.
question.
So I try to, and I spoke to my youngest son. Um I plan on speaking to my daughter. I'm trying to get her hyped up about her first real election as well. Her first time voting at, she's gonna be 21 in September. So this is the first time she's gonna actually be able to vote. So I was talking, I've been like talking to her about it, and I've been taking her to the polls with me since I don't know when. So she's very much willing to vote. And for some
Because
reason
that's something
she
that
can't
she's seen
now.
you do.
Right, but for some reason she thinks that she could. I could go into the voting booth with her. I said, no, no, you on your own. She's like, but I always go in there with you. Yeah, because you were a minor and you couldn't have influence, and it didn't matter that you were there. But now you're doing it as
It
an adult,
matters, right?
and you got to put your big girl drawers on. Oh, and speaking of that, putting your big girl panties on, she applied for her passport. So, yay,
Wow,
21 years
yeah.
older. I'm very proud of her. And
Oh Lord, that means that she get to go to another country and rape and
yes,
act crazy. Oh my
and
goodness.
but for her first trip out of the country, she wants me to go with her. So I'm gonna do that, and we're gonna go somewhere for her 21st. So we're excited about that. I told
Oh.
her I'll do this first trip with you, but every other trip you're gonna go by yourself and your friends. And I'm too old to be traveling around the world with a bunch of 20-year-olds. I can't do it.
Exactly.
I could do it with 50-year-olds, because I'm in my 50s now. But
Yeah. And see,
to party
that's a
all night,
different.
I can't do that no more.
It's a big difference
It's a
traveling
big
when
difference.
you in your 20s and then traveling when you're in your 50s. You still got to go to bed by 10 o'clock.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's pushing
Mm.
it.
You're not going to be hanging out all hours of the night.
Nice.
I can't do it. I can't do it. 'Cause, my idea of vacationing is laying on the beach or in the pool with the swim up bar, and that's it. And then going to a nice restaurant and taking my butt to bed. That's vacation.
Okay, okay. Those are the good days. That's a
That's
good
a good
Yeah,
day.
time.
Right.
and without pain. Don't forget without pain.
All inclusive. Oh, I'm all
Yeah,
about
all
the all
inclusive. Yes, exactly.
I'm all inclusive.
All night long.
Yeah, right in your bed. You talking about you hear him talking about he partying all night long, right in his bed.
Sleep by yourself.
Oh goodness. Look, when when you get old, when you're young, oh you old, this that and the other, and you don't no fun. Yeah, now I realize there are a lot of memes out there with 30-year-olds saying that you don't when you turn 30, you don't think like you did when you was in your 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I definitely didn't. But I'm hoping, I'm hoping, she has a good experience with her first time out of the country. And I don't know, wish us luck. Because the further,
Definitely. Just I would say like this. I would say like this. People are going to vote the way they're going to vote, and I'm cool with that. But my thing is that especially women, and and unmelanated women, if they think that the next that 47 presidency of the of El Cheeto is going to be a good one for them, then they have something else coming.
Yeah, a rude awakening. A very rude awakening.
But but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. They've always voted against their best interests anyway.
Definitely.
But that's neither here
But I'm
nor there.
not qualified to be a president when she's literally the vice president, and that's why
Well,
you.
and that's what I'm saying. And they're saying El Cheeto is qualified because he was a businessman. Yeah, yeah. If there was an award for bad business, he'd win it by a mile.
Exactly, and
Now I can't come off the music.
he can't even form a coherent sentence.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. It only matters that President Biden can't either. So they're like, well, don't worry about what's over here. And you notice that's how the news
And I don't know if y'all remember this when they first got voted into office, Biden and Harris. I said I think this is a setup. I think
Why did you
that
think that it was a setup?
because I think the ultimate goal was for her to be president.
Oh, okay. I
I
see what you're
said that
saying.
from I said I think that's why she joined his ticket because she was his opponent initially, and that's why I was a little leery about her because you go from being his opponent to being his running mate, and I don't know, something was smelling a little fishy to me. So
But they all do that
I
though.
know they all do it. Yeah, that's why I had to do my due diligence and I had to research and I had to close my mouth and open my ears, and I see that that's a common thing. But I called it. I knew that either something was going to happen to him, God forbid, and she would become de facto, president, or we were gonna, she was gonna run and become president. But I think that was the plan all along. He probably pulled her coat and said, "Listen, you run on this ticket with me, and I guarantee you'll be the president after me."
Wow.
That's just my thought.
no, that's actually that's not a bad conspiracy theory, but I mean, a lot of people were
That
saying
she's
that back in
qualified.
2020.
Yeah, a lot of
But
people say.
yeah, so it's not bad. It's just that I guess it's the timing. I guess it's the timing. So that would be it. But you can't
And
always get.
and the way it happened, I don't think he wanted to run again, but I think because the incumbent always has to. That's what it's called, right? I might be
Yeah,
reneging.
incumbent.
They
Mm-hmm.
always um the official person to run automatically after their first term, right?
Yes.
So I think that he did that and started on the campaign and dropped out so she wouldn't have to be voted in as the official DC candidate. So they wanted to make sure that she was actually going to be, because now that he dropped out, of course she's going to get bumped up into that position. It's not going to be a primary election.
Right.
So I think
But
that's what I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just, I just noticed these things. I think everything happens for a reason, and I really hope she wins.
I hope she does too, because we need normalcy, some more
We need
normalcy,
right.
and
The fact that Tim Walz, I think he's going to be America's dad because he's like such a Midwestern dad. I love him. I really do.
yeah, it's like so you look older than you. He said if you taught in high school for 30 something years, you look this way too. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. I want to give shout out to my main man, Mad Hatter, coming on. I want to I want to thank Kim for coming on. I want to thank everybody else who's on. Oh, by the way, go support. Chocolate Pearl is going to have a desk at she's going to have a booth at Millie's Emporium the end of this month. Y'all need to be there in Aiken, South Carolina, so y'all can go buy some of her body butter. That's what the show is sponsored by. I've used it. I liked it. It made me smell good. Also,
Did it make it feel good? Did it get rid of your crusty, rusty ash on you?
and you know my middle name is Ashton.
Uh, Apple and our other sister, Beanie, they had it, and Apple's son, I gave her one to try, and she took it home and never seen it after that. When we
I found it, and I went in his closet, and it was a corner left, and I took my corner back. Believe me, and I hid it from him because he loves it. And I said, man, like my sister gave this to me. This is not, for general use. This is not a community body butter. If you want it, you go ahead and go on her website, or you call your auntie up and you buy some of this. This is for me.
Exactly, but it's all good
okay.
though.
I'm
It's
sorry.
all good.
I'm not going to come on this show on my phone anymore. I'm going to do my computer. Go back to the computer.
Please do. Pay your
This is
damn
ridiculous.
bills.
But like I, I was saying um, about the butter that, and I don't know if Apple got to finish the story about him sticking his whole finger in there, and it's a little dab will do you. So if anybody buys my body butter, you do not use it like you back in the day Vaseline. A little dab will go a long way.
And it really works. It makes your skin smooth, and it's not heavy. It's not greasy, but it does absorb well into the skin. And the smell is awesome. I love the smell. Especially
Thank you, thank you.
some
That is
spots
that
I
is
think
the real
like
Golden Girls creations body butter that I create. Several different fragrances, also fragrances for men. Um, DFG tried. I guess he liked the name "Lick Me All Over," and hopefully whoever licked him. Um,
She gone. She gone. But on that note, we're gonna bring the show to the close. I want to appreciate my sisters in blood, my sisters in war, my sisters in peace, my sisters on this. Um, I want to thank each and every one. I want to thank you, Apple, for holding it down while I was doing other things, and I wasn't busting it open. I wasn't busting it open on the internet for money. I think I'm gonna have to do that if I can't pay this damn rent. Only fools. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. They won't pay me a dime. But I want to thank you, and I want to thank Chocolate Pearl for taking over, even though she had technical difficulties. She was still a trooper and still hung in there and got most of her word in. I want to appreciate those out there in the audience and say, if you come back here, you come back here, you do our thing, and you never know what we're going to talk about. That's the great thing about this show. We don't have defined subjects most of the time. So enjoy us. We don't consider y'all guests. We consider y'all family. Take off your shoes unless your feet stink. Get comfortable, but don't put no feet on my coffee table. And use a coaster. Pearl, you got anything before we close out?
okay, I'm sorry that I was in and out and half of my conversation was done, but that probably was the Lord telling me I needed to shut up anyway. So thank y'all very much for joining us today. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I hope we kept it going and moving and entertaining. And hopefully we'll see y'all next week.
And Apple.
um, thank everybody for joining this week. And if I was rambling and talking too much, I apologize.
Nah, you
You
were
did
good. You were
great.
good.
You did great.
You
I'm
were
so
great.
proud of you.
Definitely, definitely.
Everybody
You,
knows me. I'm not a talker.
yeah, yeah. Except when you're talking to us, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's it. Like, like, all right.
So, for those out there, I didn't do a TikTok today, or I only did like 3 minutes. But for those out there in YouTube land, Facebook land, Instagram land, you know how to find me. I'm on all the socials. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell a phone. Tell your friends that the DFG Corner Emporium team is back again. We'll be back again on next Tuesday, and hopefully it won't be a blues day. So y'all have a wonderful day, and remember, never make love by the garden gate. Though love is blind, the neighbors ain't. I want to thank each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you.